Okay, let's try this again. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 4th. It's a Tuesday, and I want to give an update. I realize that this has been a little bit hard to follow when you got, the state coming out and claiming a victory, and of course we claimed a victory as well. But here's where we are. We posted on YouTube the highlights of what went down in the courtroom. And if you watch that, you will see that the state actually concedes that our pigs are not a violation of the invasive species order. So that is absolutely a victory. All right, and they conceded, and they said to the judge that we don't have a problem with Mark's pigs. The judge even kind of shakes his head and says, wait a minute, you're totally reversing your position, and he's not in a position to ask them why. But if they drop their suit against us, there is no conflict, and the judge dismissed the case because there's no conflict. Amongst legal people, it's pretty punk to do that, but it's par for the course with these guys. They don't want to go into a court of law because they are going to have to explain things that can get certain people in lots of trouble. So they are protecting individuals with this in their own little castle down there. All right, but it's not quite over. I think people got a little disheartened when that happened. All it did was up the ante. It didn't change anything. We still want clarification on the declaratory ruling, and in that clarification process, it will probably be deep sixth, thrown out. Okay, so it's not over. We have options, but what is coming next is the state has to hand down a synopsis of what went down in the courtroom. And it has to be consistent with what Harry Martin said. Harry Martin said, it's not that we're not going to pursue Baker's pigs, it's that Baker's pigs don't rise to the level of being covered, violating the invasive species order or the declaratory ruling, which is absolutely ridiculous because we haven't changed a thing in our herd. It's just that the state knew that they were going to get beat in court, so they just said, well, we don't have a problem with your pigs anymore. It's kind of ridiculous. And it doesn't do anybody any good. I suppose you could say that I have the only DNR certified pigs in the state of Michigan. And that's fun to think about. But, we're talking about justice here. Justice, liberty and justice for all. And still every other farmer is hanging out there because they have pigs with straight tails and curly tails. And I've told you this many, many times. We operate in the United States under the letter of the law, not the intent of the law. Not the intent, all right? So the letter of the law is the declaratory ruling. It says an invasive species is classified as any pig with a straight tail or a curly tail, any pig with a floppy ear or erect ear, and so on. And then other characteristics not currently known. So that's the letter of the law, and that is how the invasive species order will be enforced. Harry Martin is saying that it will not be enforced on my property. Anyway, they have to hand down this synopsis, this brief. It comes to us, we get to look at it, and then it goes, when we're okay with it, and we feel as though it is consistent with what was said in the courtroom, then it goes to the judge, and he gives a stamp of approval. So this whole process has to happen. Now, when you think about it, if they're going to write this synopsis in a way that it still has teeth, yet gives me a pass, that's tough to do. That's really tough to do. So right now, I could sell my pigs to any organization in Michigan, whether it's a hunting ranch or another farm or wherever, and because they're my pigs, they're certified okay by the DNR. That doesn't seem quite right. I mean, because all citizens are due that protection. It's equal protection under the law. Why should just me? Why should I get special consideration from the DNR? It's like we're gonna take everybody else's pigs, but your pigs are okay. So they're picking winners and losers, and that's exactly what they were doing before. They were saying, "Oh no, the pig producers, the hog producers, the big CAFO guys, Sam Hines' outfit. Oh no, those are okay, because we say so." I mean, when we brought up the fact that his pigs have straight tails, curly tails, floppy ears, erect ears, they have color, they have structure, they have, all that. It was like, yeah, but his pigs are okay, because we say so, right? And now they're saying, your pigs are okay to me, because we say so. That's not really good enough. Do you guys buy that? I don't buy that. So we have options, but the next thing to look at is this brief that comes down. We'll look at that and decide which way we're going to go. But right now they've really spread themselves out thin because they've given us a lot of options. And one of the things that has worked really well is the pressure that you guys have put on Lansing, the Attorney General's office. And I think that you should continue to do that. I think you should do it like times 6, because it has quite an effect. When you get right down to it, those guys down in Lansing, not all, but a lot of them are elected positions. Attorney General is an elected position. So he doesn't get to be Attorney General again just because of the way he combs his hair. He gets to be Attorney General again, and this is an election cycle, because he gets elected. And I don't think that he should be the Attorney General, because he should protect the Constitution of the United States. And as I've said before, I read the Bill of Rights almost daily, and more stuff keeps coming out of it to me. And I would recommend that you do that too. And I would recommend that the next Attorney General do that as well, and realize that his job is to protect people's constitutional rights. Because you folks got to understand, without the Constitution, 2.5 years ago, they could have just showed up here with a paper, pulled it out and say, the king has decreed that your pigs are illegal, and then gone to shooting all my pigs and then throw me in jail. That's what they could have done. And they can't do that under our system with the Constitution, because the Fifth Amendment says that our property is protected under due process of law. Due process of law would be kind of like what we saw in the courtroom the other day. Not really. We never made it to trial. In a hearing, the Attorney General's office pulled a really punk move. It's going to give them a little bit of time, but it's not going to fix it. They're still going to have to pay the piper eventually. Okay, so we can keep up the pressure on in Lansing. We'll wait until the end of the week and see what comes down. Know that your actions in Lansing is a major pain in their butt. They don't like it. They are watching the hit counter on the Harry Goes Wild video. Right now there's over 5,000 people that have viewed it, and I would recommend that you all pass it around a little bit more. Let's see, Harold Martin, you got to remember that he is just a foot soldier. He does what he's told. In the video, the latest one that we posted, he even says that he's just reading from a brief that his colleagues prepared. And what that is the state has the money to hire in legal consultants. They can't practice in this state, but they can look at all the information, and then they can say, do this, and this will get you out of it. So in this case, they had to pull a really punk maneuver by saying, oh, your pigs are okay, 10 days before going to trial. I had a person write to me via email. I think it was an older person, and they said that the Nazis did a similar thing. They would have groups of Jewish people that were skilled and that were able to do things, and they needed to keep them around. So they reclassified them as something other than Jews. So this is kind of the same thing that the DNR is doing. They're saying, we're going to reclassify your pigs as okay, right? When we haven't changed anything. We haven't changed a single thing. And then you got the likes of Ed Golder. He's a beauty. He goes around and says, this is just what we wanted. Baker has come into compliance. I have complied. I haven't done anything. They've just declared that I have complied. And I guess that's good enough in their world, but it really isn't in our world. We're a constitutional republic, and we're going to do things our way. Okay, so let's do that. And, talking about Harry, let's not call him Harry anymore, because I think it's hurting his feelings. He said that it disparaged his grandfather's name. So we shouldn't call him Harry anymore. And why don't we just call him Junior? Let's just call him Junior. And I think that's fitting because evidently he was handpicked by the Attorney General to do this, which would be Bill. So why don't we call him Bill Jr.? Yeah, why not? Or just BJ. Yeah, let's call him BJ. BJ Jr., whatever. Let's do that. And then press on. Be watching for what comes the end of the week. And we'll be back to you. Thanks. Mark for Baker's Green Acres, signing off.